Has someone ever said something to you and you felt your whole body change? Your heart beat faster, your face felt hot, your hands became tight. You wanted to say something back. You wanted to defend yourself. You wanted them to know that what they said was wrong and that you are not someone they can treat that way. Maybe it was your boss. Maybe it was someone in your family. Maybe it was a friend, a stranger, or someone online. The words were sharp, and they landed deep. And the worst part is not always what they said. The worst part is how you felt afterward. Angry, embarrassed, small. Or maybe you did say something back, and it only made things worse. And then you lay in bed that night going over it again and again, asking yourself, why do I let people do this to me? If you know that feeling, this lesson is for you. This is a lesson for English learners who want more than words. It is for your heart, your peace, and your dignity. Because today, something is going to shift. You are going to learn how to face disrespect without losing yourself. Not by becoming cold, not by fighting back harder, but by becoming something much stronger than anger. Calm. There is a truth that most people never learn. A truth that the wisest, most respected people in the world already know. And it is this: your calm is your power. Not your voice, not your anger, not your ability to win an argument. Your calm. That quiet, steady, unshakable place inside you that nobody can touch unless you let them. In this lesson, we are going to walk through 7 things together. 7 ways to deal with people who disrespect you and still walk away with your head high and your heart at peace. You do not need to shout to be heard. You do not need to fight to win. You only need to understand what is really happening and then choose slowly and clearly how you want to respond. Are you ready? Then let us walk into this together. Lesson 1. Understand why they do it. The first thing you need to understand is this: when someone disrespects you, it almost never has anything to do with you. Read that again. It almost never has anything to do with you. Think about the people in your life who are truly happy. The ones who feel good about themselves, who have peace inside, who are living a life they are proud of. Do those people walk around putting others down? Do they make cutting remarks? Do they say cruel things to make someone feel small? No, they do not. Because people who are full do not need to take from others. It is the people who are empty inside who reach out and grab. It is the people who are hurting who want to spread that hurt around. It is the people who feel small who need to make someone else feel smaller. This is not an excuse for how they treated you. What they did was still wrong. But understanding why it happened changes everything about how you carry it. Think about Maya. She works at a company in the city. One morning, her boss calls a team meeting. And in front of everyone, he says something sharp, something that is not just criticism, it is personal. It is meant to sting. Maya feels her face go hot, her throat tightens. Everyone in the room is looking at her. In that moment, Maya has a choice. She can believe what her boss is saying. She can take his words inside and let them become part of how she sees herself. Or she can ask a different question. What is going on with him? Because here is what Maya knows and what you need to know too. Her boss has been under enormous pressure for months. His own manager is pushing him hard. He feels out of control. And when people feel out of control, they often reach for control in the wrong places. They find someone nearby and they push down because pushing down feels like standing up. Maya is not the problem. She is just the closest person. When you start to see disrespect this way, something important happens. The words lose their weight. Not all at once, But slowly, the sting fades. Because you understand that the words were never really about you. They were a window into the other person's world. A world full of pressure, or fear, or old pain that is never healed. This does not mean you accept it. This does not mean you smile and say nothing. We will talk about that later. But right now, before you do anything else, before you respond, before you decide what to say or not say, start here. Start with understanding. Ask yourself quietly, what is happening inside this person that made them act this way? That one question will not fix everything, but it will create a small space between their words and your reaction. And that small space is where your power begins. Your calm is your power. Lesson 2. The pause is your superpower. There is something that happens inside your brain when someone says something that hurts you. It happens fast, faster than thought, faster than reason. In less than a second, a small part of your brain sends out an alarm. Danger, threat, react now. Your heart speeds up, your muscles tighten, your mind narrows down to one single focus. The person in front of you and what they just said. Scientists call this a hijack. Your thinking brain gets taken over by your feeling brain. And when that happens, whatever comes out of your mouth next is almost never your best self. You know this feeling. You have said something in anger that you did not mean. Or you have gone completely silent when you wanted to speak. Or you have walked away and spent the next 3 hours thinking of all the perfect things you should have said. This is what the hijack does to you, and it happens to everyone. But here is what the wisest people know. Between the moment someone disrespects you and the moment you respond, there is a tiny space, a pause. And inside that pause lives all of your power. The pause is not doing nothing. The pause is choosing. It can be as small as one slow breath, in through your nose, out through your mouth. It can be a moment where you look down at your hands. It can be 3 quiet seconds where you do not speak, but you also do not explode. In those 3 seconds, your thinking brain wakes back up. The alarm fades a little, and you remember who you are. Think about Daniel. He goes home for a family dinner. Halfway through the meal, his uncle says something cutting, a comment about Daniel's job, about his choices, about the life he is building. It is not the first time, and Daniel feels the familiar heat rise in his chest. The old Daniel would have snapped back, and then dinner would become an argument, and the argument would last for years in his memory. But Daniel has practiced the pause. He puts down his fork. He takes one breath. He looks at the table for just a moment. His uncle keeps talking, and Daniel listens, but he does not absorb. He watches the words like clouds passing. He does not grab them and hold them tight. Then calmly he looks up and changes the subject. Not because he is weak, not because his uncle was right, but because Daniel decided in that pause that this dinner was not worth a war. The person who cannot pause is controlled by everyone around them. Every rude comment, every sharp word, every thoughtless remark pulls them left and right like a puppet. The person who can pause controls themselves. And the person who controls themselves cannot truly be disrespected. Because disrespect only lands when you let it in. Poor response. React immediately. Say something you regret. Give them exactly what they wanted. Strong response. Pause. Breathe. Choose. Then speak from a place of calm, not a place of fire. Practice the pause today, not in a big moment. Start small. The next time someone cuts in front of you in traffic, pause before you react. The next time a message annoys you, pause before you reply. Build the muscle slowly, so that when a real moment comes, your pause is strong and ready. Your calm is your power. Lesson 3. Your silence speaks. There is a story about a woman who was attacked publicly by a journalist. The journalist wrote cruel things about her, personal things. Things designed to embarrass her and make her look small in front of the world. Everyone waited to see how she would respond. They expected fire. They expected a long defense. They expected anger. She said nothing. Not because she had nothing to say, but because she understood something most people miss. When you respond to someone who disrespects you with heat and noise, you enter their world. You play their game on their field by their rules, and their rules are designed for them to win. But when you stay calm, when you stay quiet, when you keep walking forward with your head high and your dignity intact, you are not playing their game at all. You are playing a completely different one, and in that game they cannot touch you. There is a man many people around the world know. An actor, quiet and kind, who has faced years of public mockery. People have laughed at him online. They have made cruel jokes. They have written comments designed to hurt. And this man, time after time, has responded the same way. With gentleness, with a small smile, or with nothing at all. And something interesting happened. The more he refused to be broken, the more people admired him. The cruelty looked small next to his calm. The mockers looked weak next to his quiet strength. His silence was not emptiness. It was a statement that said, "You do not have the power to define me." There is also a woman who once stood in a room full of people who did not believe in her, and instead of shouting back, she simply raised her standards. She let her actions answer what words never could. When they went low, she went high. Not because the high road is always easy, but because she knew that how you respond to disrespect becomes part of who you are. Your silence, when chosen carefully, is one of the most powerful things you have. This does not mean you never speak. We will talk about that in the next lesson. There is a time for calm words and clear limits. But there is also a time when silence is the fullest, most complete answer you can give. When someone tries to provoke you, your silence tells them, "I see what you are doing, and I choose not to join you." When someone tries to make you feel small in front of others, your calm tells the room, "I know who I am. Your opinion does not change that." When someone throws anger at you and you return stillness, you break the cycle they were counting on, because the cycle needs two people. You just stepped out. Your calm is your power. Think about the last time you were truly impressed by someone. Not the person who shouted the loudest, not the one who had the sharpest comeback, but the one who stayed soft and steady when everything around them was sharp and loud. That person stayed in your memory. That person had presence. That person had something you felt but could not quite name. That thing has a name. It is called mastery. Mastery over the moment. Mastery over the instinct to defend and attack. Mastery over the part of you that wants to shrink when someone tries to make you small. You have that mastery inside you already. You only need to choose it. Lesson 4. Do not feed the fire. Imagine a fire, a small fire burning in the middle of a room. Now imagine two people standing near that fire. The first person is angry. They want the fire to stop. So they grab whatever is nearby and they throw it in. Paper, wood, cloth. They throw and they throw, believing that at some point, if they throw enough, the fire will run out of things to burn. But the fire does not go out. It grows. The second person does nothing. They step back. They take away the air. They give the fire nothing to hold on to. And slowly, without drama, without noise, the fire shrinks. And then it dies. Disrespect is that fire. and your reaction is everything it needs to stay alive. Here is something important to understand about people who disrespect others. They are almost always looking for something in return. They want a reaction. They want to see you flinch. They want the satisfaction of knowing their words reached you, that they had power over you in that moment. That satisfaction is the oxygen that keeps them going. They want a reaction. They need a reaction. Don't give them one. When you react with anger, you tell them, "You got to me." When you argue back loudly, you tell them, "Your words matter to me." When you lose your composure, even for just a moment, you hand them exactly what they came for. But when you stay still, something strange happens to them. The script they were following does not work anymore. They expected noise. They got silence. They expected heat. They got cool. They expected a fight. And there is no fight to be had. It is deeply unsatisfying for them, and deeply powerful for you. This is not about pretending you feel nothing. You are human. You feel things. That is not weakness. The pain is real. The anger is real. What you are choosing is not to perform those feelings for someone who does not deserve the show. Think about a person who posts something cruel online. About you. About something you made, something you said, something you believe in. The comment is designed to sting. And it does. You could reply, "You have thought of 100 perfect responses in your head already." You could defend yourself, correct them, let the whole world see how wrong they are. But ask yourself honestly, has that ever worked? Has replying to cruelty ever made the cruelty stop? Or does it usually invite more? One comment becomes 10. One small fire becomes a bigger one because you kept feeding it. Close the app. Put down the phone. Go outside. Make a cup of tea. Let the comment sit there unanswered, becoming smaller and smaller in its own silence. Because here is what happens when you do not feed the fire. The fire has nowhere to go. The person who lit it is left alone with it. And a fire that gets no fuel, no air, no reaction, no audience, simply burns itself out. People who have truly learned this lesson walk differently through the world. They are not cold. They are not hard. They are warm, open, kind people. But there is something settled about them, something that says, "I know who I am, and your opinion of me does not shake that." Poor response. React immediately. Give them your energy. Make them feel powerful. Strong response. Observe. Stay grounded. Withhold the reaction. They are counting on. You do not have to be perfect at this. The first time someone disrespects you, after today, you might still feel the fire rise inside you. That is okay. Feel it. Breathe through it. And then choose not to feed it. One less reaction. One less piece of wood on their fire. One more step toward the person you are becoming. Lesson 5. Set limits with calm words. Everything we have talked about so far might give you the wrong idea. You might think that dealing with disrespect means staying quiet forever. That the answer is always to say nothing, feel nothing, accept everything with a peaceful smile? That is not what this lesson is about. Calm is not the same as silence. Strength is not the same as tolerance, and self-respect is not the same as letting people treat you however they want. There is a moment after the pause, after the observation, after you have understood what is happening, when speaking is exactly the right thing to do. Not with anger, not with tears, not with a raised voice that tells the other person they have successfully gotten under your skin. With calm, with clarity, with words that are simple, direct, and impossible to misunderstand. This is what we call a limit. And a limit, said calmly, is one of the most powerful things a person can do. Think about Maya again. After the meeting where her boss made that cutting comment in front of the whole team, Maya did not explode. She did not cry in the bathroom. She did not send a long, emotional message that she would regret the next morning. She waited. She let the day settle. And then the following afternoon, she asked her boss for 5 minutes in private. She sat down across from him. Her hands were still. Her voice was low and steady. And she said this: "I want to talk about what happened in the meeting yesterday. When you said what you said in front of the team, it was not okay with me. I am committed to doing good work here, and I need us to communicate with respect." That was it. No accusation, no long history of grievances, no tears, no shaking, no apology for bringing it up. Just a clear, calm statement of what happened and what she needed going forward. Her boss was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. The conversation was uncomfortable, but it was short, and something shifted after that. Because here is what a calm limit does. It shows the other person that you see yourself clearly, that you know what you deserve, that you are not asking for their permission to feel respected. You are simply informing them of how things are going to be from here. People who disrespect others are often, though not always, testing to see how much they can say, how far they can go, whether you will push back or whether you will quietly accept it. A calm limit answers that test without drama. It says, "This is where I stand. You are welcome to adjust." Here are some simple phrases that work in real situations. When someone speaks to you in a way that is unkind, you can say, "I hear you, but I would like us to speak to each other with respect." When someone says something personal and hurtful, you can say, "That comment was not okay with me. I would appreciate if we kept things professional." When someone keeps pushing after you have already spoken, you can say, "I have said what I needed to say. I am not going to discuss this further right now." Notice what all of these have in common. They are short. They are clear. They do not attack. They do not apologize for existing. They do not over-explain or justify or beg. They simply state a truth and invite a different way forward. You do not need to be cold to say these things. You can say them warmly. You can say them with a kind face and a steady voice. The warmth is not weakness. The warmth is grace. It says, "I am not angry at you as a person. I am simply not available for this behavior." And if the other person reacts badly, if they get defensive or dismissive or say you are being too sensitive, you do not need to win that argument. You have already done what needed to be done. You said your truth, calmly, clearly, with your dignity fully intact. That is enough. Your calm is your power. And nowhere is that more true than in the moment you open your mouth and choose exactly the right words in exactly the right tone to protect exactly the right thing. Yourself. Lesson 6. Protect your inner world. Imagine you have a house, a beautiful, quiet house. Inside this house, there is warmth, there is light, there is everything that matters to you. Your values, your memories, your sense of who you are and what you are worth. Now imagine that outside this house, someone is shouting. They are saying ugly things. They are throwing small stones at the windows. They are telling anyone who walks past that your house is worthless, that the light inside is fake, that you do not deserve the home you have built. You have two choices. You can open the door, run outside, and stand in the street arguing with them, letting their words into your house, letting their opinions rearrange your furniture, letting them tell you which rooms are allowed to exist and which ones should be closed forever. Or you can stay inside. You can hear the noise. You can know it is there. But you do not open the door because you understand something very clearly. They are outside. You are inside. And they can only come in if you invite them. This is what it means to protect your inner world. Most people do not realize they have a choice about this. When someone says something cruel, they believe they have no option but to feel exactly what those words were designed to make them feel: hurt, ashamed, angry, small. But you do have a choice. Not over whether the words land near you. They will. Words travel fast, and they are sharp. But you have a choice over whether you open the door and let them inside. There was a man who spent many years in a very difficult place. A place where people tried every day to take away his dignity, his hope, his sense of self. They had power over his body. They had power over where he went and what he ate and who he spoke to. But there was one thing they could not reach. One place they could never enter. The space inside him, where he decided who he was and what he believed, and how he would treat other people when he finally walked free. He walked out after many years, and he was not bitter. He was not broken. He was not full of the anger that would have been so easy, so understandable, so human. He said that resentment is like drinking something poisonous and waiting for the other person to get sick. He had protected his inner world. Through years of pressure and pain, he had kept the door closed to everything that wanted to destroy him from the inside. You do not face what he faced, but the principle is the same. Small or large, the disrespect that comes your way is always asking for the same thing: permission to enter. Permission to change how you see yourself. Permission to live inside your head rent-free, taking up space, using your energy, dimming your light. Do not give that permission. This does not mean you feel nothing. It does not mean you are made of stone. You are allowed to be hurt. You are allowed to feel the sting. Feeling it is honest. The question is not whether you feel it. The question is whether you hand it the keys. When someone disrespects you, feel it, acknowledge it, and then make a quiet decision. This does not get to live inside me. This is not the truth about who I am. This is their voice, not mine. Say it to yourself if you need to, not out loud, not in a long internal speech, just a small, firm, quiet truth. I know who I am, and this is not it. Your inner world is yours. Build it carefully. Guard it gently. And never, ever let someone else's chaos become the furniture of your mind. Lesson 7. Let it go. Not for them, for you. There is one more thing, one final lesson, and it may be the hardest one of all. After the pause, after the silence, after the calm limit, after you have protected your inner world and refused to feed the fire, after all of that, there is still something left. Something sitting quietly in the corner of your chest. A weight. A memory. A story you keep returning to. He said that to me. She did that in front of everyone. They treated me like I was nothing. And even though you handled it well on the outside, even though you stayed calm, even though nobody saw you flinch, it is still there, inside, taking up space. Using energy, keeping you connected to a moment that is already over. This is what we carry when we do not let go. Not the event itself, the story about the event. The replay. The version where you imagine saying all the things you did not say. The version where justice arrives and the other person finally understands what they did. The version that keeps running because some part of you believes that if you think about it long enough, something will change. But nothing changes by holding on. Nothing heals by staying in the wound. Letting go does not mean what you say to me was okay. It was not okay. You did not deserve it. Full stop. Letting go does not mean that person was right. They were not right. Letting go means this. I am choosing not to carry your words any further than this point. I am choosing not to give you any more of my time, my energy, my peace. What you did lives in the past. I live in the present. And I am not dragging your behavior with me into my future. You let go of the anger. You let go of the story. You let go of their power over you. That is the freedom. Not for them. They may never apologize. They may never understand. They may never even know the weight they placed on you. That is their story to carry, not yours. Think about what it feels like to hold something heavy for a very long time. Your arms ache, your shoulders tighten. Your whole body organizes itself around the weight. And when you finally put it down, there is a moment of such relief that it almost feels like joy. Your body remembers what it felt like to be free. That is what letting go gives you. Not closure from the other person, not justice from the world. Just the simple, quiet relief of putting something heavy down. This is not easy. Nobody said it was. If the disrespect was deep, if it came from someone close to you, if it happened more than once, letting go is not a single moment. It is a practice. You put it down. It comes back. You put it down again. Slowly over time, you carry it less and less. But it starts with a choice. A small, quiet, private choice that nobody else needs to see or approve or understand. I am done carrying this. That choice made sincerely, even imperfectly, even while still feeling some of the pain, is the beginning of something new. It is the beginning of you moving forward, lighter, with more room inside you for the things and the people that actually deserve to be there. Your calm is your power. And the deepest calm of all is the one you find when you finally put down what was never yours to carry in the first place. So let it go. Not for them, for you. Take care of that inner world we talked about. Fill it with things that are true, things that are kind, things that remind you of who you really are when nobody is watching, when no one is testing you, when the noise from outside goes quiet, and you are left with just yourself. That self is worth protecting. That self is worth coming home to every single day. Which of these 7 lessons do you need most right now? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if this lesson helped you today, share it with someone who needs it. Because somewhere out there, someone is lying awake tonight, going over a conversation that hurt them, not knowing that what they are looking for is already inside them. Send them this. Let them know. Thanks for listening today. Keep coming back for more English stories and lessons that speak to your heart and your mind. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember, your calm is your power.